random weird. I lost a filling today. I lost a filling and swallowed it. So, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to actually do about that. I'm not going to go to the doctor because I don't think they need to, like, pump my stomach or nothing. But obviously, you're not going to be able to see this, but it's my front tooth, right? Not the very front tooth, but right next to that one. And it was just a little piece of a filling. And I was eating a sandwich for lunch, and one bite, it's there. I go to take another bite, and I thought something felt weird. And I'm like, oh, there's a big piece of my tooth missing. And I just swallowed a whole bite of food where that little piece of tooth had to have gone. So I'm going to have to go deal with the dentist, getting that fixed up for myself as we start a new week as well. So we're already off to a bad start for the week, but we're going to do our best to make it better, make it a week to be remembered. 1 week to go tomorrow. As of tomorrow, essentially 8 days till Election Day, when we will find out the results of elections all across the country. And so I want to talk a little bit. I've got a bunch of audio today. I've got it. I don't know who it is. Some guy on Twitter kind of compiled a bunch of clips. So I'm going to be sharing a bunch of these clips from the Trump rally at Madison Square Garden. And surprisingly, I am finally, as we near the election, I'm finally beginning to feel a little bit of hope and a little less anxiety about the election coming up in the 5th of November. And I feel like over the last couple of months, I've been very negative and very down. And I don't know if it's because of, like, say, the anxiety about the election. But I'm beginning to feel a bit hopeful about some important elections, not just here locally, but around the country, and of course the presidential election. The rally that President Trump had in Madison Square Garden the other night was it was one of the first times that I have watched a Trump rally where I was genuinely inspired. And not just by Trump, but I mean, Tony Hinchcliffe was there. Tony's a comedian. He can be a bit vulgar sometimes. I don't know much of his stuff. I just know that he's got a podcast, and he's a stand-up comic who can be a little bit blue from time to time. So I don't know a whole lot about him, but I thought he did a good job talking about the choices set before us. Of course, Vivek Ramaswamy came in, and I'm going to share some of the audio from his speech because it was brilliant. He did such a great job of reaching across the identity politics aisles and reaching out to voters who were maybe feeling a little uncertain of where they were going or what they were wanting for the future or for themselves as a presidential candidate. Tulsi Gabbard was there, gave a great speech as well. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Some of the audio clips are a little long. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Obviously, there was Tucker Carlson had some great things to talk about, did a great job giving some speeches. Hulk Hogan, he's Hulk Hogan. Didn't expect a whole lot from him. It felt more of a Hulkamaniac act than just a Terry Hogan sharing his thoughts. Which honestly, when Hulk Hogan was at the Republican convention, he did a really good job of, after kind of addressing the crowd as the Hulk, he then, said, look, here's the reality though. I'm just a guy. My name's Terry. Here's why I'm really voting for Trump. And I feel like he kind of missed an opportunity to do that at the rally the other night. So But again, he's Hulk Hogan. This is his persona, and he's been doing that persona for 40 years now, maybe even more. So I guess you don't really expect a whole lot there. And then, of course, J.D. Vance, just absolutely crushed it, knocked it out of the park, did a great job kind of, pointing out the craziness of the Kamala Harris team. And I wish they had come up with this earlier. I wish they had addressed this earlier in the campaign, because it would have been the ultimate kind of dig. It would have been the crooked Hillary. It would have been the low energy Jeb Bush. It would have been kind of that classic remembering of the kind of the iconic line, and the line that J.D. Vance brought up. He was talking about Kamala Harris and her interviews that she had done. And in one of the interviews, a couple of them, but in one in particular that he referenced, she was asked if there was anything that she would have done differently. If there was anything that she'd been in the vice presidential slot for the last 4 years. If she had been president, would there have been anything that she would have done differently from Joe Biden? And her response was, nothing comes to mind. And J.D. Vance, in discussing this and talking about this, had such a great line. He said, that could really be the tagline for Kamala Harris's campaign. Kamala Harris, nothing comes to mind. It's brilliant. I wish they need to, every speech, every Republican surrogate for Trump, every endorsement, everybody that is doing anything talking in favor of or in support of Donald Trump from now until Election Day needs to make that a part of your speech. Kamala Harris, nothing comes to mind, because it was such a great line. And I really, truly believe that's going to be one of those political video clips that we go back and search for on YouTube 30 years from now. It's going to be the Ronald Reagan, standing at the Berlin Wall and giving the speech, and the balloon pops shortly after having been shot at. And he says, missed me. It's going to be one of those kind of clips. It's going to be, those kind of classic political speech clips that we're going to search for years in advance or years down the road, because it really, really was a great line. Kamala Harris, nothing comes to mind. And with that, there's a lot more to get to today as well, so we'll do all of that. But I am genuinely beginning to feel some excitement and a little bit of hope for the future as we get nearer to Election Day today. So we'll continue with the Schmidt Show next on News Radio 102.9 KRN.